Hey, and welcome to our podcast. I wanted to hop on here today because just something near and dear to my heart. It was a message that I spoke to some of the staff in Nairobi in Kenya when I went in January, and I will absolutely talk about that trip on another podcast session. But for today, I wanted to actually talk about the same subject that I said to them. It just kind of came up and uh, really just very near and dear to my heart. If you feel like you are not winning the day, this might be for you. If you, and frankly, even if you feel like you're winning the day, this is for you, because you'll have days that you don't feel like that, and you'll have days that you wonder about your purpose and if you're doing the right thing and if any of it even matters. So, just to set at least the stage for the staff that I spoke to in Nairobi and in Latuktuk in Kenya, it was all of the staff. So it was principal, teachers, um, everybody, the people that made the food, the people that did any of the janitorial. It was everyone included there. And it was not a ideal setup or not ideal conditions. The children often come from some kind of abuse, often are orphans, often homeless, often all in poverty. So, not great situations that the staff is really just trying to walk alongside of these children in. So I say that even though we might not be walking along children that are suffering from that same kind of devastation, and honestly, we might be. We still might be, even here in the US or wherever you're listening to this. But because what we do matters. And that's really what I wanted to say today. Uh, Everything that you do matters, whether, big or small. So, just in case you don't know more than my name as of yet, I have four children. We have four children, Marty and I. Two girls, two boys, all of them different, and a little bit of a blended family. Most people don't know actually that Zoe is not Marty's. We met when she was about 5 months old and got married pretty quickly and have been together for over 20 years now. So, an absolute God thing. But we also had adopted. We went through the foster care system and decided to adopt Nicole, our other daughter, who is 19. So, our kids, just for reference, Zoe is 22, Zach is 20, Nicole is 19, and RJ is 18. So, all really young adults at this point. And I'll talk more about our adoption journey and kind of what that looks like and still does look like. But today, it's about what you do. So, loving people in a moment with a smile. It could be something so simple, holding the door open. I remember a commercial a few years back. It was something to the effect of like, pass it on and what a difference it makes when you hold the door or smile for someone. And I believe that it does. So it could be a moment, but it also could be a season or even a lifetime. For example, I can say very easily that how we loved Nicole mattered for her and it mattered for us. Um, she pushed us to be our most vulnerable. We had to be in order to be the best parents that we could be to her. It absolutely grew us the most as people, as a married couple, and as parents. And the reason that we had to just be at our most vulnerable with her was because she was hurt and afraid and rejected. And she had to see something different in us than what she had experienced prior to us. But we also had to toe the line with her more than our others, because we had to teach her boundaries that she didn't know, and we had to do it in a really genuinely, transparently loving way, so that she would recognize, where it was coming from, and that we weren't being mean if we took her phone away for not, doing well in a particular class. So, and there would be moments that she would lash out at us and hurt us, and we had to forgive it and leave it in that moment in order to show her that we loved her no matter what. It was absolutely a journey. But I can say without a doubt, everything that we did with her, or do with her, how we love her, it absolutely makes a difference. And it definitely does with our other children as well, how we love them. But it was probably most obvious in her case. And I want to just say to you that journey is and was challenging. I mentioned that she would lash out at us. There are moments that, we didn't want to do it. Moments that we were just hurt and tired and, really, if I'm honest, just kind of crying out to God, asking Him to help us, to step in, give us the strength to keep going in those hard moments. And I say that because I am certain that we all have those hard moments, whether we are, parenting or not. We all have those hard moments at work, in relationships, like in life. If you go outside, you pretty much have those hard moments. And the hardest thing that you can do, and that we had to do with her, was to wear our heart on our sleeve each day. And yet that's what we were called to do. And in some cases, and I'm not advocating for you to do that in your, every aspect of your life, because that's not appropriate. It doesn't make sense. But in some areas, you will have to. And I just want to sidebar for a moment and say to those of you that are in a season with that, I see you there, and I know what that looks like and what that feels like. And I just want to encourage you to be courageous and be brave and keep going. For those of you who are not in that season, it still matters what you do. The words and actions that we do on a daily basis, it either awakens the potential in someone or dims the light. It just does. And I think that we sometimes forget how impactful our words are. I think it's the reason why God gave us one mouth and two ears. It really does matter. If you think about the thing that you want to hear most often is, maybe I love you, sure, but I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. It's such a simple statement, but what a difference it makes. What a difference. And don't we all kind of desire that? Don't we want to feel known and loved and seen, and to be made for a purpose and intentionally? Whether you believe in God or not, maybe it's you want to believe that your Creator had bigger plans for you, or maybe maybe you already do believe that, which is awesome. I am a fan of that. I do believe in God, and I believe that He did create each of us for a purpose. But I think that in our day-to-day life, we have purpose too. And that feeling known, seen, and loved, I think that's where it's at. There's no greater gift than to be known. I heard Ellen DeGeneres say it once, I think on her show, I'm not really sure. She said, "It's good to be loved, but profound to be known." It's good to be loved, but profound to be known. Just think about that. It really means that kind of at your core, someone knows you, they take all your flaws, and still loves you anyway. Still loves you despite the fact that we're all a work in progress. Still loves you. I think it's the same kind of love that you desire and receive, and just as much as others do. And I hope that you do. I hope that you get that from other people. I hope that you are able to pour that in. Maybe you're a teacher and you deal with kids on a daily basis that struggle here, or maybe you're a parent, and you're wondering what your purpose is, and if you're even intentionally making a difference, or maybe not intentionally, but just making a difference, making an impact, especially when you're just changing diapers, when it's pretty early. I remember that stage for sure. And there are definitely moments when you feel like, I just need it. I just need to know that I'm making a difference. A little bit more than changing a diaper. Eventually you will. Eventually you'll see it, that difference that you're making. But maybe you're not a parent. Maybe you're not even in a relationship. Maybe you're a student and you're like, how does this even apply to me? Absolutely it does. I think as young adults, it's like we first kind of awaken to this idea that, we do, or we might, hopefully, have a purpose, that there might be something more for us. And I just really invite you and encourage you to lean into that. I think that sometimes we get confused with gift versus calling. I don't necessarily think they're the same thing. I think that you can be called to something that you were previously terrible at, but your gift will come into play with it. It's just me. But at the end, I sidetracked there. At the end of the day, I hope that you are able to know that, no matter what season you are in, no matter what stage of life you are in, that what you're doing matters, and that it absolutely has profound impact on other people. When you engage, when you pay attention, when you put your phone down for a hot second and just look at the person that's talking to you, or maybe even they're not talking to you, just they're in front of you and you notice them. I think it's profound. It's, I think, the most impactful way that we can be God's hands and feet, to see people, to, in whatever way is appropriate for each person around us, to love them. And listen, I know that there are toxic relationships. I am not advocating for staying in a toxic relationship, no matter who it is. I don't think that they are for you. The thing that I would encourage you to do, if that is you, is really just to recognize and find your value. to know that you have value. But for the non-toxic relationships, and for the people, as I said, like maybe that you see in Starbucks, or when you hold the door open for someone, in that moment, what you do, the hands and feet, that matters. For children especially, I think it makes all the difference. I think that when we do more and pour into children more, well, I think that we have the ability to change a lineage, to change a nation even. I think that there's so much there. When I was in Kenya, I couldn't help but do a little bit of digging, and the group that I was with, such an awesome group, Blue Door Sponsorship. If you are not familiar with them yet, I will have Abby on, who was the founder of it, and so good. 21, about to be 22, or just turned 21. 21-year-old girl who 7 years ago started this organization that essentially feeds and loves and educates children, and spiritually feeds them, physically feeds them, emotionally feeds them, and educates them. So the things that we do matter. Not just Abby's big, huge thing, but what a lineage and generation she is impacting. But guess what? Her mama, who is so wonderful, simply poured into Abby. Just decided to be the best parent that she could be to Abby. To one person. Really, actually two, because Abby's sister, but in this case, for the sake of example, one person who turned around and is doing the same thing for a nation. Changing the lineage, the generation. It is beautiful. I think that just in case you're wondering if you're making a difference in the small or big settings, whether you're winning the day or struggling today, I want you to know that it's everything. I want you to know that even if you put your head on the pillow and felt like you did your best, but gosh, you wish it was better, or you hope and pray that tomorrow will be better, but that you did your best, I want you to know that it's everything. It makes a difference. In our house, we choose to really establish our marriage as one of our top priorities. And maybe that sounds funny, but we decided early on that, or maybe realized early on, that one day our kids would grow up and move away and move out, hopefully not far, but that they would leave our house. And we still wanted to love each other and have a relationship with each other when they did. So there's a couple of things that does. Certainly the impact on each other that Marty and I have, what that does for our relationship and our trust in each other, our faith in each other, our love for each other. When you know that you can be your most vulnerable and your best and worst, and this person is here for it, and maybe sometimes to give you a kick in the pants to be better, but not a literal kick in the pants, but kind of a just a wake up call, then it makes a difference for us, but it makes a dramatic difference as well for our kids, for what they see, for what they're willing to accept, and what they're willing to give. Because we decided early on that we had to model for them what we wanted them to do and be. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes you don't feel like it. Sometimes you don't want to say sorry when you're mad. Sometimes you don't want to fix it when you're not the one that broke it, But if we want them to learn how to communicate and love and give grace and have a prayer life and how they view work, how they view seeking their best self, literally all the things, then we recognize that we had to model it first, and then what an impact it makes on them. So I want you to know, even in those small things, that it makes a difference, that you really are making an impact. Even if it's a hard season, even if you don't feel like it, even if you really are. So with that, thanks for joining. If you liked it, then would love for you to hit the subscribe or share it on social. But really also what I would love to see is put in the comments what you'd want to hear more of. Let us know. Today it's just me, probably 50-50, maybe more than that. You'll see Marty on here with me as well. We will have guests that I'm so excited about already. But I want to make sure that we are delivering content to you that actually matters and is helpful. So with that, just keep going. I heard this before, and I don't know who originally said it, but it just resonates so much, so I want to say it to you. You didn't come this far to only come this far. God didn't bring you here just to drop you where you are and for you to never get out of or never move past whatever season you're in. So keep going, because it will make you great for your next season. All right? Have a great day, guys. Go kill it.